Bobby says Cheetozard is the coming of the end of the hobby. Listen, if that's true, Bobby, we had a mediocre run. I'm not gonna lie to people. We had a mediocre run. As a hobby, it was pretty trash. However, I feel we're going out on a good. That's like a shooting star right there. We're going out on a high with Cheetozard. I feel good about it. I'm a fan. Great for investors. Love it. Like I said, I think the winner, Eric, is going to be a passionate Cheetozard collector. I think they're going to be like, oh my God, my dream in life. I spent my entire life building a fortune so that I can buy a cheap flaming hot Cheeto shaped like a Charizard.
My life is complete.
Honestly, a noble goal.
I don't know. People buy artwork that just has a banana duct taped to a wall, and they call that art, and people, whatever.
So you don't want people to know about the taped banana that you have?
That's my business.
And on that wonderful note, I want to thank you all. Hopefully, we will find out by this time tomorrow. We will know what because there is extended bidding, so we don't know how long extended bidding is going to go. But hopefully, by this time on Saturday, we're going to know what the final total was on the Cheetozard. I'm very excited by this. I might have to create a whole website, Cheetozard Watch. Bobby will be refreshing constantly. Like it's gonna be weird. But he's in on this. No matter what happens, I'm gonna take a screenshot. I'm gonna put it somewhere. I'll find a place.
He's gonna have ice cream cake while watching.
Oh my God, he's gonna have ice cream cake while planning his trip to Atlanta and getting updates on the final Cheetozard. Eric, it's all the pieces coming together.
It's all happening.
$87,840 worth of buyer's premium. I couldn't have booked this better if I tried. Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. So I thought I would have a little intro to have a little bit of fun with this one. I was going to watch this regardless. I was kind of curious, morbidly curious myself, but we did talk about it at the end of the last live stream. So the first clip I showed you was at the end of the live stream where we were having a little bit of fun with it. We did have a little mini poll there, just at the tail end. I was enjoying. Bobby was kind of, you could tell he was a little bit annoyed with the whole concept of it and how much silly money it was going for. And then, Eric expressed kind of a similar thing. And of course, Yannick and I were having a lot of fun with it in the embracing the absurdity of it, which I'll come back to in a second. So we actually did discuss this already on the podcast episode last week, and it was actually Brandon's Baubles and Ball Cards Silly Card of the Week, which is this item, which is I'll actually read you the description. I'll do you one better. I'll put it on the screen. I'll read you the description. Rather than me try to explain it, I'll read what the description says, and it'll explain everything. So this is sold on Goldin auctions. This was an item that says, presented is a 3-inch long flaming hot Cheeto in the shape of a Pokemon Charizard, affixed to a customized Pokemon card and encapsulated in a clear card storage box. It was initially discovered and preserved sometime between 2018 and 2022. By the way, I still enjoy the 4-year gap there, but fine. By First and Gold Collectibles. The Cheeto surged in popularity on social media platforms in late 2024. So as a result, you've got to do a lot of marketing for it. Goldin dubbed it the Cheetozard, which was basically the whole joke that we were having a lot of fun with, though. But in the back of his mind, Brandon still thought it was actually a gag thing that Goldin had just posted on there, and I'm sitting there like, no. he definitely said, listen, Kenny from Shop at Home would definitely sell this 100%. The unfortunate thing is he doesn't have Don West, or it would have easily cracked 6 figures. If he had Don West on there, I guarantee 100K plus. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about this, because number one, it's a fun story. I enjoy it for what it is. But again, it goes back to kind of an angle that I take on a lot of the collecting things. And I feel like from time to time I have to circle back around to this just to explain it over and over again, the way this YouTube channel works, because I do touch on it semi-regularly, and I feel like it still gets lost sometimes. This is the perfect story for this channel, and that is because it's card adjacent. It's encapsulated inside of a custom card, if you will, but it's a Cheeto. It's a Cheeto that's sort of in the shape of a Charizard, if you follow Pokemon. But what makes it great for me is that someone actually spent, in theory, we'll see what the final total ends up being, but truthfully, it doesn't matter whether this gets paid for or not, or whatever the case may be. The fact that it even got this far is actually one of the things that I like about it. And I hope, I want this to be sold, and I hope that this person, comes forward and displays it somewhere, and then down the road I would love to see this try to be sold again. That would be a lot of fun for me. I didn't think it would go for this much, but again, rule number one, and I'll come back to that in a second. So the point is, this is perfect for this channel because I very much have, from day one of starting to do sports card content, the initial portion of it was all box breaks and stuff, but it was just because that's what I was doing at the time, and that's what made sense. But then as I got into doing more of like the talking head kind of things and everything into it, I talk seriously on certain topics, but for the most part, I kind of, the ethos of the channel is that I embrace the absurd. Because it's silly. You know, at the end of the day, most of us are collecting pieces of cardboard. It's worthless pieces of cardboard. The fact that we assign value to it, you know, that's the marketplace. That's a different conversation. But in reality, it's a piece of cardboard, however you want to slice it, no matter what you want to do with it. And if you take it seriously, then that's your problem, not mine, because I enjoy this in kind of the spirit in which I take it, because to me, it's not my money. Somebody wants to spend almost $88,000 on a, I guess, artificially preserved Cheeto. I celebrate that. I embrace it. I embrace the absurd. And that's why I thought this was a lot of fun. Now, I guess we can talk about a couple of practical things of it. Let's go off of the assumption that it gets paid for, because obviously that can be the first thing. You know, oh, this person just did it for attention, whatever, and it doesn't get paid for. That's fine. But for the sake of this conversation, let's say they've end up paying for it. So the question would be why. Well, first one's kind of an easy one. Let's pick the first one off. First theory that you could pose out there is money laundering. You know, you just buy something really stupid and just spend a lot of money on it to kind of wash some cash and move it from point A to point B. Look, I can't argue with you. You know, $88,000 might be a little on the high side. You know, might be in the Beckett high column for Cheeto. But I'll say this. If it is a money laundering scheme, I would consider maybe the possibility, wouldn't you choose something a little less conspicuous? Like pay $1,000 for an actual bag of trash? Had to do it. It's been a while. But you could do that. You could literally just buy something else that's really dumb. Something that's not as high profile in that sense, because again, it got through to us. And Ken Goldin made a lot of effort in social media to try to get it posted. And according to that write-up, apparently it had hit social media platforms in late 2024. I honestly didn't see it in the first place. We only caught it recently when Brandon brought it to our attention, and then we started laughing. Me more than most, but I definitely was cackling quite a bit in that one. So I enjoyed it for what it was. And I was rooting for the Cheetozard. I was hoping that it would go for a silly amount of money. Again, didn't think it would go this high. So, you know, the money laundering angle, if you want to take that, I'd have no problem with it. I really wouldn't argue with you. I think it's very possible. But we can go the other way, I guess. It's that somebody clearly had enough money, and honestly, maybe for them, $87,000 is the same as maybe $87 for other people. If you're somebody in that tax bracket, maybe you don't care. Maybe the novelty and the, you know, conversation starter is enough. And somebody could look at you and go, you spent $87,000 on a Cheeto? It's like, you don't understand. It's a Cheeto shaped like a Pokemon. Not just a Pokemon, the Pokemon, the Cheetozard. So I guess from that perspective, that is a possibility. Again, embracing the absurd. But that's kind of the reason why on the channel, whenever we talk about a lot of these things, I always refer back to the rules, the infamous rules of the live stream. I might actually have to just put them on a poster or something, because at this point we've got enough of them. But rule number one is people are stupid. And you can carry that over to a lot of things, including people spend money on stupid things. And to be honest, spending $87,000 on this is not to me even as dumb as some of the other things I've seen in this hobby. I'll see people spend money on dumb things all the time. You know, modern, vintage, all of it. I've seen some of it where it's like, no, that doesn't make any sense. I get what you're trying to do, but it's not my place to legislate for them what they want to do with it. I may say, I don't think that makes sense. But at the same time, well, I go back to what I said earlier in a previous video. It's not my money. So I'll enjoy it, especially when it goes into this level of absurdity. You know, now I'm rooting for you. No, like I was watching a little bit. I didn't end up doing any kind of a watch along because, again, with 30-minute extended bidding, every time somebody bids, it adds a tax on 30 minutes. This finished in the wee hours of the morning. I think it shows on here on the page. Yeah, it finished on Sunday at 2:12 in the morning. So I'm recording this on Sunday afternoon, and that ended in the wee hours of the morning. I was up, and I was actually kind of refreshing it on the other window occasionally just to see, and I was watching it tick up because it was moving. I forget, I want to say it was under 20,000. We were watching it on live stream late on Friday night, early Saturday morning. So over the course of Saturday, it moved a little bit, but then it was definitely towards the latter portion of Saturday where it kept going, and then it went into Sunday morning, Eastern time. But 2:12 in the morning is when it finally ended. It was $72,000, and then the $87,000 is when you add in the 20% juice, basically. 20% buyer's premium on there, and that's what bumped it up another level. All in all, though, I very much enjoyed the way this went down. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it on the podcast episode this week. We'll definitely talk about it. We'll give extensive Cheetozard coverage. I feel is really, this hobby is underserved on proper Cheetozard coverage. I don't do auction watch-alongs. I don't do auction recaps. But this one deserves my undivided attention. We need to analyze it from every conceivable angle and embrace the absurdity. We are merely in the era of the Cheetozard. And that's why I included that clip where Bobby put in that comment that it's like I said, listen, the hobby's had a mediocre run. Let's be honest, the hobby kind of sucks. But it does restore my hope and faith in this hobby that finally a true Grail is recognized. And honestly, the only thing that makes me sad is that we didn't add a couple more zeros. I was thinking 870,000, 8.7 million, 87 million. That. At least that leaves us some room, though. Maybe there's an opportunity for this person to flip it. Because if the right people get wind of it, they can understand that this is truly the ultimate Grail. The fact that it hasn't disintegrated up until this point probably speaks to preservatives. It probably speaks to chemicals. I would question if there isn't some performance enhancement involved in the Cheeto remaining intact. But nonetheless, for now, I think it remains the ultimate Grail of this hobby. And congratulations to the winner. And congratulations for Kenny in finding a way to make a commission on a Cheeto. This hobby is stupid, and that's what makes it fun. But anyway, so that's kind of my key point on that. A couple of things real quick that I want to touch on. I think I'll have some other things that I'll touch on the podcast episode. A few other things caught my eye recently. Nothing too crazy. I think what's going to be interesting, though, is I'm going to be in planning, as I mentioned in my pickup video that dropped earlier today. I'm going to be in planning towards the Spring Expo. Still a little while. That's at the end. I want to say April 24th to 27th, 28th, something like that. So that's still towards the end of April. Before that, we're going to have Strongsville. So those folks that are going there, that should be interesting. I'm going to try to reach out to a few folks that might go down that way, though, because I'd love to get a little angle from Strongsville. No interest in going down that neck of the woods, but nonetheless, I always think it's interesting when we've got some of those shows that are kind of specialized. So that definitely qualifies as one. So we can have a little bit of fun with that one as well. So I was looking over just to see if there was anything in the comments that I wanted to address during this episode. No, I think we'll keep it. I may go over a couple of recent comments that were on the last live stream, the last podcast, and then also from the pickup video that I did. I'll probably touch on that during the podcast episode as well. So those podcast episodes drop on Tuesday mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern. So we'll record those on Monday, but we'll drop that at 8 a.m. Eastern. So I may reply to some other things that I saw. So if it comes to me between now and then, I'll jot down a note and we'll include it on the podcast episode. Otherwise, more videos coming up on the channel, live streams on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or we did Cheeto Watch, Cheetozard Watch towards the end of the episode. And then, now we'll have to have the obvious, we'll let Bobby regale us on why this is the most significant sale in the history of the hobby. He may try to argue otherwise, but secretly, I saw the text message threads, and no one was more enthusiastic about this than Bobby. I think he'll be enjoying a celebratory ice cream cake, because that's the only thing he cares about, and working on planning, as I said in the clip, his trip to Atlanta, his favorite place on Earth. The happiest place on Earth, some would argue. But nonetheless, that is it for that one. We'll definitely touch on that stuff some more. So from this one, the beginning of Cheetozard Week on this channel, as we go through our Cheetozard coverage, because I know that's what you want. None of this vintage garbage. None of it. I'm ignoring that trash. I don't even worry about modern. The only thing that matters in this hobby is Cheetozard. We are in Cheetozard's world, and you all just live in it like the rest of us. On that note, thank you for checking this one out. Like if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much, and may Cheetozard be with you.